Welcome back to the Unpopular Opinion Becoming Popular. My name is Yana the Heretic, and I'm excited to present to you guys the initial gate of the beginning of the Quarter of Mutation, and it is Gate 1. And we have finally made it to the end of the Quarter of Duality. And now our focus is coming in to the quarter of personal self-exploration and transformation, as well as just being wrapped up in the cocoon of your own identity. What does that look like? And what perfect time to do those things in the Pacific Northwest. Then the winter time, the ability to really do some art, to read some books, to get cozy, to explore, or push yourself out in there in the wilderness, foraging for mushrooms, whatever it is. What do you really identify with? Now, this gate is filtering from November 5th till the 10th, and it is in our identity center as the pillar of the cross of the Sphinx. So if you think of the Sphinx, it's this gorgeous anomaly on this plane that holds a lot of secrets. It is the arm of the pillar of the Sphinx, and it holds you and your individuality upright. So and it is all about the way that we are individual. And this is under the archetype of Hades. And Hades is, if you don't know, the god of the underworld. He is also the keeper of Earth's hidden treasures. Because he's underground, he sees the way that the Earth weaves its magic underground, which is, precious metals, stones, all those things are hidden from us until they are unearthed. So if you're looking at what an individual is and how this gate is pronounced, it is definitely this conquest of finding who you are. And it is the I am division where you really are saying I am and understanding the esoteric quality of those words. So this entire quarter is going to be based off of this most yang of hexagrams, because we have the entire hexagram being consistent of yang lines. And that means it is very stable. It is very cocky in its nature because it is upright. It is a very solid foundation. So we are starting to build a solid foundation of who we are, who we wish to be, and understanding that. And this is very much the artist. This gate is called the gate of self-expression and the creative. So it is the most primal force of creation, and it is all about your signature. Who are you as an artist? And like Hades, you find yourself alone or in your den underground. And, you're in a way hidden and forgotten. And until the harmonic gate 8 comes in, which is the promoter of your work, then you really aren't seen, because you like spending all this time alone. If you have gate 1, you like, your whole entire purpose of living is discovering this signature, this creation that is you, because otherwise life is meaningless. This is very much the questions from the identity centers. Who am I? And what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of my life? So you're starting to develop these personal definitions of what it is to be specifically you, and nobody else can actually have those attributes, no matter what. Even in the Van Gogh immersive experience, nobody can really be Van Gogh. No one created that impact from its natural source. Anyone can copy his work, but it doesn't have that magic, that essence of Van Gogh. It's not breathing and living him. And I was just talking about Van Gogh the other day because he didn't get recognized for his work until he had deceased. And all he identified with was bringing light, shining light to those that had been forgotten, those people that work on the sidelines that nobody cares about. Whether they're drinking enough water or how their well-being is when they come home after a hard day's work. He depicted those people. And he had this very thick and bold signature. And a lot of people didn't like that. They don't consider that art because it's not blended and flat, and it doesn't have these, dimensions that come from, a strategic plan of how to create. But this isn't about that. This is about, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go my way. And if you don't like it, then, you don't like it. But typically people do recognize gate ones. And, gate 8 is the gate of contribution and holding together. So it is bringing people to the artist and being like, look at this work, look at how amazing this is. This artist depicted all of these flavors of this time frame, or, perhaps it is a scholar, perhaps it is a chemist, or somebody that lectures. Like, it's any type of creativity. Since I'm an artist, I like to just resemble the artistic, painter, because it's easier for me to relate with. But it's any, type of creativity under the sun. A musician, no one's gonna have your voice, no one's gonna have your diction, and these are very much the people that get famous for that one specific signature. And they could be manifesting this signature their entire life, and it will, live on, and it won't get old, because, it's so awe-inspiring to see this, and it's so easily recognized. Yeah, that's Banksy. Yeah, that's Van Gogh. Yeah, that's Alex Gray. It's like those people that coin those signatures, and everyone else can play off of it, but it's not them specifically. So this is really pushing us to be bold and to be courageous in who we are. And I love this gate so much because it really does bring that cockiness to the table, where you're just not afraid. Even if you tried to be cocky and you have this gate, it won't work out for you. You have to wait to be recognized. You have to wait to be invited to share your creativity. And a lot of the time, if you try to be your own manager, the promoter of your work, it doesn't work out, because you're not aware. If you have this gate, your whole derivative is to create and to push these creations. But if you don't have gate 8, you don't really promote your work. You're not the solid person that goes out and can meet people necessarily. Maybe you're extremely awkward and you don't want to interact with the outside world, but like a hermit, and you're may not have the social skills to interact because you've got so much other energy going on. And it's like, if you try to be your own promoter, and you don't have gate 8, you're gonna be like stricken with like people just being like, whoa dude, like you are so unapproachable. And it actually can default to people not liking your work. How many of us have like idolized somebody and then they've met them and been like, whoa, like that's weird, like I don't actually really like this person, and it kind of changes your view on who they are and diminishes their creativity or their work. So not always the best situation. And that's where, you know, the channel of inspiration, if you have the entire channel, which we are filtering this week, this whole transit, it is about being the creative role model. So if you have this channel, you can be that creative role model. You're not seeking to be the role model, you just are. You're living it. You know, people can see you on the street because you're so weird and different. And it's like, you know, the David Bowie in society who just sticks out, you know, and really changes people's worlds, really changes, you know, the streamline of the collective and where it's going. And this inspiration can last for years. It is your legacy that you're leaving. And a lot of us really hope to leave behind a legacy. So even if you have this entire channel, you don't really care about followers. Is it successful? I mean, that's all that we hope for, right? To be creative and to get money from our work. So sometimes these people don't really appreciate that because they get it so easily. So take note, you know, just be extremely in gratitude because a lot of people don't have this opportunity. But they're natural leaders, you know, regardless if they want to be or not. And typically, if you have gate 8, you do want to be that leader. At least just being able to shine, you know, and inspire like a new world or a new niche. Yeah. That just about covers everything. And it's going to really lead us into this fire horse year. So we're in the wood snake year, and now we're going to the fire horse year, and it's going to be initiating whatever this transformation that we're embodying and we're revitalizing within us. Like, this is going to really be brought forth the next year with this passion, with this external showing of what we have really transformed into. So it's really important to stick to this process. In the last 4 months of this year, guiding us into 2026. So I wish you all the best. Please share this video because a lot of people need to be structured and need to grab onto some reins. Just be like, hey, this is the time to change the nation. So make sure that all these changes are concrete within you before you externally validate them in the world, because you know, words are power, your creativity is power, and you not knowing your authentic self is going to lead some false, it creates false gods in the universe where, you know, then you're going to be in a limelight and you're like, oh shit, like actually, like, now I have to pretend to be this person that I'm not because I said something that I don't actually believe in. So make sure to drop your comments into my DMs or into this chat. Let me know how you're creating this week. I would love to know. And embrace this boldness within yourself. Do you find Hades to be scary? Or does he have a bigger role in the balance of the universe? Let me know. Do you find yourself drawing the same ideas over and over again, or do you create with many mediums and have various projects? So with this gate filtering, this is the artist that typically doesn't have this gate naturally in their definition. They'll be like creating a certain theme of work. They'll be like, well, I experimented just, painting a sword or apples, and I see the dimensions of these things now, and once this transit's over, they're like, yeah, like I'm gonna scratch that and leave it, and I'm gonna do something different. Whereas like if you have this defined, you're going to create the same thing, different versions of it, but it is the same cartoon character that you are known for, that you're famous for, like Mickey Mouse or something, Looney Tunes. What energy are you most identified with right now? Is there a story that has to be told to create movement or space in your body? I wish you all the strength to create movement and space this season of this quarter. Do you best create alone in silence, or do you like making things with other people? Note the specifics of the light, the room, the music, silence. What do you like? What's the atmosphere that you like to create in, and how does that aid you? Let me know. Welcome to this quarter, and I wish you all the best. I will see you all next transit.